We're in Dalton. I'm with the floor covering retailer Rick Myers, Myers Carpet. How are you this morning, Rick?
Good morning, Dave. This isn't your first time here, is it?
No, and it's a fascinating story here. Now, this is one of three locations. You have a location in Atlanta.
Right.
You also have a location in Nashville.
Correct.
I don't know that you've added any since I was here last.
No. But we have a retail store near Georgia Tech on Northside Drive in Atlanta, and then one in downtown Nashville on Division Street. So this July started our 58th year in business. My father started in 1957.
And you were the first retail store, would I have that correct?
First retail store in Dalton, Georgia, carpet capital of the world.
Yeah. Now, the story here in Dalton in the retail business, and we're on Connector 3, where it used to be in the morning there'd be trucks from all over the country, all over the southeast anyway, ready to pick up carpet. That has certainly changed. And I guess adopting is really the answer to surviving here in Dalton, isn't it?
I honestly remember one time pulling out the Dalton Yellow Pages, and I counted 130 carpet outlets back in the 80s or early 90s, and I doubt there's 25 now, but things have really changed. You know, Dalton was like going to Hickory or High Point to buy furniture.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's changed over the years.
Well, of course, carpet, I guess, isn't as popular now as it was then, and there's the internet. Of course, many of these players up and down the street, I guess, sell a lot of floor coverings over the internet, I have to imagine.
Yeah. You have to be a force on the internet to be a player in Dalton, and we've got full-time persons sitting putting product on the internet every day.
Now, talk about the transformation that your organization has gone through. Now, obviously, since the old days, you have two other location, most interesting locations, really. But talk about the transition you made from old to new over the years.
We made a decision years ago to change, to go higher end, to separate us from everybody. Almost every retailer in town had Shaw, Mohawk, Beaulieu, but we thought we would make our brand different and go higher end. Dalton has become a hub for that. Companies like Kane Carpets and Godfrey Hirst, the largest wool carpet company in the world, manufactured in Australia, has a distribution center 4 or 5 miles from here. So it's just as easy to get as Shaw or Mohawk or Beaulieu. But this has really worked out great for us because it gave us a brand, it separated us from everybody else. And all three of our stores have workrooms where we serge and bind and cut custom rugs and cut out sections for fireplaces to go around your room. And if you need a 10-foot 2 by 11-foot 8 rug, we can cut it and serge it and bind it. And it's so much more fun working with $100 yard material than it is, cheap Olaf and Berber for $5.99. You can sell 5 rolls of that and not make the same profit as 25 feet of the Belgium woven wool.
How did you come to get into the fabricated rug business in the first place?
Well, my father started Myers Carpet by going in 1957. This July started our 58th year in business here. But he started the business by going to the few manufacturers in Dalton in the 50s and buying their poundage. So he would buy scrap and he would bring it back to a workroom, and we had 5 little ladies with cutting knives, and we would cut little area rugs and stair treads that ended up on Peacock Alley, where all the peacock bathrobes and chenille bedspreads were flapping in the breeze up and down 41. So that was our first retail business was on Peacock Alley.
So then you got into fabrication early on and with the big tables and all that.
Well, yeah, but we went away from it for 20 years or longer. But part of us going higher end, all over the country, there are certain people like us who can take those high-end wool products and make custom rugs for people. And it's like being an artisan, it's a talent, and you piece this stuff together and you do border rugs and you bind expensive carpet in leather, and it's just you know, we have some really talented people working in putting our rug program together.
And that doesn't mention runners and, you know, carpet for stairs, et cetera.
Plus, we make rugs for a lot of importers. Kuristan and some other people, we are making custom rugs for them. So as the tone of Dalton has changed and less people come here, we found a way to try to keep our business in Dalton with labor and producing rugs. So
now, you had mentioned you're in the high-end business. Your stores have roll goods, high-end. In fact, the store, most unusual store in Atlanta, and I guess the one in Nashville is pretty much just like it. You know, untold number of high-end roll goods, and you almost need to have that to have the fabricated rug business, don't you?
not so much here, but in Atlanta and Nashville, decorators play a huge part of our business. If you can afford to hire a decorator to decorate your house, you're not going to quibble over 25 cents a yard difference in the plush and you know, but so we do a ton of decorator business in Atlanta. It's amazing over the years, people who have Myers carpet in their homes. Ted Turner's got it in his penthouse, and we've done custom rugs for Elton John. And in Nashville, it's, you know, Donna Summers, before she passed away, had Myers carpet. And so we've developed a high-end clientele over the years.
That's interesting, and that's, I guess if you're wondering where a lot of carpet is going, that's exactly where it's going. With the advent of hard surface, there are rugs that go over it, and your higher-end fabricated rugs are some of them.
Especially in Buckhead and Atlanta, those old homes there have beautiful hardwood floors, most of them, and they are constantly getting custom rugs for them. But I was going to relate the story I told you over the phone the other day. About 5 years ago, we had a lady that came in our store and was looking around, and she picked out some products, and she turned out to be the set director for Anchorman 2. So, you know, we did business with her for weeks and weeks. She needed orange shag carpet because Anchorman 2 was set in the 70s, and lime green carpet and all this stuff. So, so that was a great piece of business. And then a couple of months later, she was working on the internship. And part of it, you know, that was at Google. They were the interns at Google, and we made a custom Google rug for the set. And we did a lot of stuff for that. And then she comes back and she's working on Dumb and Dumber 2. And then she comes back and she's working on Fast and Furious 7 when that Paul Walker got killed out in California with Porsche. But they came back, they, you know, had to, you know, stop filming, but then they came back and finished that. And we just finished a Ben Affleck movie in Atlanta called The Accountant that hasn't come out yet. And then we finished a Russell Crowe movie with Kim Basinger and Ryan Gosling called The Nice Guys. So I know I'm forgetting one or two of them, but, you know, Georgia's become a big hub for the film industry, and we seem to have benefited from it as much as anybody.
And this because the set designer happened in your store.
It wasn't the same person every time. They told their friend that was doing another movie, and that happened. But for almost 5 years now, we've been doing all the sets for the Nashville TV store, TV show out of our Nashville store. And I got to go about a month ago to the sets. They've got a 280,000 square foot building and a 75,000, and you walk in the door and there's the Bluebird Cafe in that corner, and there's the Learjet interior in that, and the bedrooms over there, and it's all on wheels, and they roll it around. And so it's nothing we would have said at a conference table and said, I want that film business, but it just seemed to happen, and it's worked out really neat.
Really good. Well, with all the business, as you mentioned, coming to Georgia, that's certainly, you know, you certainly have found a good opportunity there. Now, you also furnish fabricated rugs to other retailers and others, don't you?
Yeah, not so much other retailers, but you know, just we have a rug report every day, and we can sometimes there's as many as 150 rugs to be made at this store. Some retail and some, you know, for other, you know, like Kuristan or somebody I was mentioning to you, but if you take that and add the rug report in Nashville and add the rug report in Atlanta, there's, you know, hundreds of rugs that we're making on a daily basis.